Other interesting culture news, you have Bud Light Steelers sweepstakes, but still 80% won't buy according to the Bud Light poll, which shouldn't be too surprising these days. Now, this is yet another sweepstakes. It's almost as they reminiscent of those lame cliche stories growing up where you hear about the kid in class where the kids want to throw their child a birthday party, and the kid really doesn't have that many friends because he's kind of weird, maybe he's a jerk. So the parents actually go to the parents of other kids and they bribe the kids to come to the birthday party. That's perhaps another good apt metaphor for the Bud Light business fiasco or business blunder of the decade or century, as they continue to attempt to win back their old fan base by giving away free copious amounts of Bud Light, which is perhaps one of the best examples you could use for people when they ask, what's an example of someone who could be a winner and a loser at the same time? Though granted, we did here make history today think of the sixth reason to purchase or win a Bud Light. It can be used if you're having if you really love spicy food and you burn all the taste buds off your tongue. You could have a Bud Light, which would help you become inebriated you become even more inebriated, but it would taste effectively like nothing, or perhaps even water, which is only a little bit more palatable than perhaps regular Bud Light. Nevertheless, that is, I believe, the sixth reason why maybe some people are joining the sweepstakes, presumably, as the number of reasons to actually want the product increase by a little bit. Now, their text in the tweet says, quote, "When the Steelers games end, so does your chance to score more beer money. Reply at easy to celebrate at sweepstakes to turn every touchdown into a chance to win." Which, win? I don't know if that's really winning. But nevertheless, they had a picture of the Bud Light with a big NFL logo stamped on the head of that can to further drive the point home that they have money to throw at the NFL. And for the people who love the NFL, maybe this will push them to buy the product. Which again, let me know in the comments, has that ever influenced your decision to purchase a product? If you see your sports ball team on a can, are you more likely to buy it than just having the can be regular? It's not like they add anything to the drink. I mean, this is for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It might be original if they actually put some bits of flakes of steel into the Bud Light. Or iron, perhaps. Which then you could debate actually has some nutrition basis. But nevertheless, there's apparently no bits of iron or bits of steel in this can commemorating the Steelers. Interestingly enough. Now, they did get about 55,000 views, which is quite... It almost sounds like a lot, 55,000. But they only got, they increased 804 likes. So almost, actually no, that's not even a fraction of the employees who still work at the company, hilariously enough. Now, I almost wonder, how many of them are real fans? And, of course, all the people responding, let's see here. None of them are getting likes. So we have hundreds of people responding to the sweepstakes where they're just replying to that tweet with the hashtags, presumably so they could win the cases of Bud Light. And looking at the first one called Randall Durham. Lord knows I won't guess this person's pronouns because I have no bloody idea. Now this person... Well, let's see. Are they a true Sports Balls fan or a Bud Light fan? I mean, there's probably 18 fans left, don't get me wrong. Perhaps this is one of the 18. So looking at their profile, they retweeted for Captain D's Fish Tenders. Because they have a sweepstakes where you could win fish tenders. Okay. Person retweeted something called Money Lion. Lion? Money Lion. Which... on its face value, it just looks like the biggest scam ever. Money Lion? Really? And of course, if they retweet it, she could win a tote bag. Ooh. Also retweeted a wrestling giveaway, a Tiny Chef's toy giveaway, a video game meme. So, perhaps like many voters, she doesn't have an original thought to her, as, again, just retweeting free stuff. Well, there's a cat meme, so perhaps someone intelligent. I was about to say it. Oh, she did say love it in replying to some sports balls person. So it appears to be real, but again, this person. Oh, this is legit. So this person retweeted for a profile by the name of Pulte. And this Pulte, person that she retweeted, this person said, quote, I still have $1,000 to give away to be safe, and I will post proof of the other 1,000 being paid as I haven't committed last night. So more money apparently. Needless to say, if this person does have, I was about to say the privilege, if they have the occurrence of winning this Bud Light giveaway, it's not like they're getting a loyal customer. Again, this person just wants free stuff in general. It's not expanding the brand loyalty. It's not increasing their marketing effort. Again, I don't expect anyone in marketing at Bud Light to have a modicum of intelligence these days. Here's a free idea, Bud Light. If you really want to actually build loyalty, have a contingency be if you win it, you take a picture of you with the swill. So that way you can at least get some more authentic social media, as opposed to all of this, which, again, I'm trying to find real comments. Let's see. Someone by the name of Danny. Again, same thing, just free stuff, or he was a retweet. Click on his profile. He does have a retweet for a sports balls team. Apparently he's a big fan of the Yankees. I'm kidding. I know they're the Yankees. Based on Seinfeld, really. Of course, it's the same. And then he retweets for that hashtag millions, which is the BS thing where they say, we're sending $100 to one person who retweets and follows, which is so. How many people are? It boggles my mind how many people believe in those sweepstakes and actually follow it. Although it is not too surprising, since you think of the lottery in the United States, which is too reminiscent of 1984, where they talked about the lottery and sports balls, where it's used to control people of lower IQ. And I was about to say in the dystopian novel, unfortunately, the novel is becoming more and more realistic, if not tame, by modern society standards, unfortunately. Again, I do not recommend you make that a drinking game to, partake in copious amounts of alcohol when I reference the book, because unfortunately society has developed so often. I actually reference that book quite a bit. And I would actually highly recommend everyone should read the book. Of course, given modern public schools, that's not the books they're reading, because it's not teaching you about sexual themes or other inappropriate things in schools, so they would never actually teach that to people, or even allow it, perhaps. Now, going on to the real responses of this Bud Light, you do have someone by the name of James Broomley, and this is the first person to actually say a like. So all these other ones are just retweets, which has to be a bot or people with just ridiculous amounts of time on their hands. So this person by the name of James Broomley says no. Now this person already gets 24 likes just saying that they don't agree with that. You also have some by the name of Painful Truths having a little GIF, or no, it's a 15-second clip of some film in which the person takes their, cover the ears if you have youth listening to this. They remove their trousers and they tuck their junk, and they have Dylan Mulvaney's face on that person, and another face in that clip is the Bud Light logo. Now that got 18 likes out of the 786 views. Now you do have a reliable Rich Mooney saying, quote, Bud Light needs to address their marketing fiasco if they even hope to recover. And he has a meme that says, Bud Light acts like it's business as usual, but they're losing millions on NFL ads while sales stay flatter than that Bud Light expiring on store shelves, unquote. Which, now that is a pun you could take to the bank. Although, if you're a Bud Light, you probably don't want to go to the bank because, again, you're losing about 30% of your sales, so the balances are not that great. Now, that got 33 likes, which I believe may be the winner for the most likes on this little Twitter thread. Or do they call it the X thread now that they renamed the whole company? Although, for now, the URL still says twitter.com. It'll be interesting to see if that ever changes. You do have, apparently, one person by the name of Young Dave 718. Although perhaps he is so young he doesn't know how to spell because it's spelled Y-U-N-G. Or maybe that's his name now that I think about it. Nevertheless, Mr. Young Dave 718, although if he's young, she probably shouldn't be drinking beer. Nevertheless, he says, touchdown! And it does have an entertaining GIF where it looks like an old Nintendo Entertainment System graphic. And it has a sports ball player rejoicing since they recently made a touchdown, apparently. Now, this popular positive tweet got 2 likes, which is also known as terrible. Now, interestingly enough, if you look at Mr. Dave's profile, he's got 298 followers, so he's beating me by a little bit, at NICTOPPING, if you want to follow me on the Twitter. Now, it looks like, in terms of his activity, he reposts something for a movie, reposts something for the Bitcoin company, reposts something for Bruce Lee. So at least that's not a freebie. So he did repost something that was not a scam, apparently. It was just a picture of Bruce Lee. Reposted something for the New York Giants. And now we go back to free crap. Something where you can win Mortal Kombat swag for a Mountain Dew, Xbox, Banana Falcon. An AT&T promo to win a $500 gift card, which no one ever gets, I'm sure. Another sports ball tweet. Another sports ball tweet. Freebie tweet, freebie tweet. So it still appears as if a majority of the real responses are all negative. And of course, in true dictatorial fashion, they actually hide many of their responses, which, although if you look at my comments, depending on the subject matter, more often than not, they're critiquing me. I don't hide any of them, even if they are unflattering to say the least, because I'm an American who believes in free speech. Ironically enough, the only times my comments have been disabled is when, 1, I made a video talking about censorship, and 2, when I had a couple specific videos with Bud Light in the title talking about the Bud Light business blunder of the century. And ironically enough, one of the videos was about me thanking Bud Light and showing Bud Light actually hiding these responses more and more and blocking more and more people. Coincidence? I do not think so. Nevertheless, looking at the hidden responses, you have many people retweeting a picture of the Bud Light can, which is photoshopped, allegedly. This actually just might be the San Francisco edition. More research is needed, I'll be honest. Seeing this for the first time, it says the F word, light. And when I say the F word, I don't mean to swear. I mean the pejorative term for people who are, who they enjoy gentlemen, so to say. As I attempt to keep this towards somewhat appropriate for all ages for the content. And the text next to the can says, cut your private part off. Which, the most hilarious part of that in terms of a little bit of a pun, although this might be a legitimate advertisement. I mean, given Bud Light these days, it very well might be. The little small print that usually says, please drink responsibly, it says, please cut your private off responsibly. Now, it looks like you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. About 5 people all copy pasted that same image. And they all got a couple hundred views. And then, of course, Bud Light hid them all. So you have to click the show the hidden responses in order to see the most entertaining responses when it comes to the Bud Light censorship. Now, let me know in the comments, do you think their sales will continue to decrease or have they flattened out? Again, week by week, we're seeing about a 30% decrease in the sales compared to the same fiscal weeks last year. Do you think it will get to 32% or 33%? There's been a lot of social media attention calling to the fact that they're sponsoring an all-ages drag show, which many people would argue that there's no such thing as an all-age, child-appropriate drag show. Very similar to the fact that there's no such thing as a child-appropriate strip club. They don't exist because the concept in and of itself doesn't make any logical sense. So I've noticed that trend more and more, and I think I don't believe most Americans are aware of that fact. I think most people are aware of their contributions to the LGBT community, which, again, looking at the sales figures and the public responses, that's not really the controversy, as they've been doing that for 30 years. They sponsored the Pride parades for 30 years, and no one really cared. Some might argue that the parades have become more promiscuous as they actually contain fewer and fewer articles of clothing and have introduced sexual themes in terms of simulating sexual acts, which perhaps that is a contributing factor why we're seeing a recent really embrace of the boycott. But it'll be interesting to see. Let me know in the comments if you think the Bud Light fiasco or the Bud Light business blunder century, will their sales continue to drop more and more? Or do you think they'll never go below 30% in terms of they've lost 30% of sales? That rate is not going to increase. It'll be interesting to see because it is sports ball season and copious amounts of alcohol are apparently called for. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune in today. Also, don't forget to take the time to subscribe. I know it's ambitious, but trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Also giving away a free flamethrower with every IT purchase in September. Go to toppingtechnologies.com to learn a little bit more about the rules and details. Also, don't forget to take the time to ask your friends and really just let them know about the show, get their feedback as well. What I'm trying to say is, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.